When you think about it, it makes sense, but it's still a lot of debris. Mars is littered with over 7 tons of trash from robotic space exploration. Furthermore, Artemis 1 has gotten new launch dates in November. Starlink is expanding ever more in Asia, and much more. Keep watching to make sure you don't miss anything. First up, Mars is littered with over 7 tons of trash from robotic space exploration. Humans have been exploring the surface of Mars for the last 50 years, and that's bound to leave a trace, or rather, about 7 tons of it. The United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs says that in total, nations have sent 18 human-made objects to Mars in 14 separate missions, and every mission has left its mark, though many of them are still ongoing. There are 3 main sources for the debris that can now be found on Mars: discarded hardware, inactive spacecraft, and crashed spacecraft. The first consists mostly of pieces that spacecraft discarded as they make their descent onto the planet, like the parachute and landing hardware. These can land in different locations and shatter on impact, the pieces of which get blown around the surface because of Martian winds. Sometimes, working spacecraft have to drop pieces so they can be replaced, which is considered discarded debris as well. Next, we have inactive spacecraft that have completed their missions, or simply stopped functioning. Lastly, we have crashed or missing spacecraft. At least 2 of the 18 spacecraft have crashed, while the others have lost contact either before or just after landing. With some quick math, we can come to the conclusion that there's a total of 15,694 pounds, or 7,119 kilograms of human debris on Mars, which doesn't include the spacecraft that are still on their mission. Scientists consider the spacecraft and their debris as milestones for human planetary exploration. Following, Artemis 1 sets launch dates for November. November is going to be an exciting month because NASA's Artemis 1 and a Japanese lander are set to launch to the moon from Florida within days of each other. On the 12th of October 2022, NASA announced that they have scheduled the launch for the Artemis 1 mission to be on the 14th of November from the Kennedy Space Center during the 69-minute window that will open up at 12:07 a.m. Eastern Time. In case those windows won't work out, backup windows will be available on the 16th of November and the 19th of November 2022. On September the 27th, Artemis 1 was rolled back into the vehicle assembly building after it was found that minimal work needed to be done to prepare for another launch attempt. This included repairing some minor damage to the rocket's thermal protection system from earlier launch attempts and tests, and replacing or recharging batteries for the flight termination system. NASA says they expect to be ready to roll the vehicle back to Launch Complex 39B as soon as the 4th of November. Despite the launch windows being at night, NASA is determined to press ahead, though agency officials suggested earlier that they would have preferred a daytime launch for improved tracking of the SLS on its inaugural flight, but that would mean postponing the launch until at least the 22nd of November. The Japanese iSpace is planned to launch its first Hakuto R lander between the 9th and 15th of November 2022 from Cape Canaveral. Next, Starlink is expanding in Asia in search for more subscribers. Starlink is looking to deepen its foothold in Japan, as SpaceX's satellite broadband service is looking to expand in different parts of Asia, which is vital if it wishes to generate its much-needed revenues. Starlink is already available in Tokyo, and a part of the country that extends north of the megalopolis, according to Starlink's availability map, but intends to have extended its reach to other parts of Japan before the end of the year, with Japan having more than 16,000 mountains and 6,000 islands. Starlink's industry-leading satellite constellation is uniquely suited to provide Japanese enterprises with reliable, sustainable internet connectivity even in times of natural disaster, said KDDI President Makoto Takahashi in a statement. These same markets and government markets are also important growth areas for the British LEO broadband operator OneWeb, which partnered with KDDI rival SoftBank in 2021. But OneWeb's expansion has been delayed ever since the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Meanwhile, SpaceX has continued its aggressive launch campaign for Starlink satellites, lofting over 3,400 of them in total to build on their global reach. Starlink has been brought online in over 40 countries and has now started to build traction in Asia as well, and isn't showing any signs of slowing down anytime soon. But the Chinese government has looked for assurance that Starlink will not be allowed to be sold in China, according to SpaceX CEO Elon Musk. But that won't stop the entrepreneur from expanding into different regions of Asia. Wait, didn't we say there was more? Listen up. China has launched a radar satellite for environmental monitoring. New discoveries could reveal the true nature of dark matter, and NASA's spacecraft Lucy is about to swing by Earth. Want to know when? Stay tuned and you'll find out. Let's get going with China has launched a radar satellite for environmental monitoring. A 5-meter resolution synthetic aperture radar satellite has been launched by China on the 12th of October 2022. It's a continuation continuation of a period of already intense Chinese launch activity, as this marks its 18th launch since early August of this year. The satellite in question is a Long March 2C rocket, which lifted off from the Taiyuan Satellite Launch Center in the north of China, with insulation tiles falling away from the top stage as the rocket made its way into the sky. The launch was confirmed by the Chinese Aerospace Science Technology Corp, CASC, within an hour of it happening. The Long March 2C carries with it a deployable truss antenna, which is similar to the one on the Huanjing 1C satellite that was launched in 2012. According to the China National Space Administration, CNSA, the 5-meter S-band radar image data from the SAR-01 will support disaster prevention, reduction, relief, and environmental protection, while also serving natural resources, water conservancy, agriculture, forestry, earthquakes, and other fields. The launch of this newest satellite builds on China's growing SAR capabilities, and a series of commercial SAR constellations also appear to be in the works, some of which involve public-private partnerships. Next up, new discoveries could reveal the true nature of dark matter. Earlier in 2022, a machine learning algorithm discovered up to 5,000 possible gravitational lenses, which have the possibility to transform our capacity to chart the evolution of galaxies since the Big Bang. 77 of these lenses have now been evaluated by Kim Vi Tran of Astro 3D, the University of New South Wales, UNSW, and colleagues. The international team concluded that 68 of the 77 of these are strong gravitational lenses, which span unimaginable distances. This shows a success rate of 88% for the machine-learned algorithm, making it reliable and proves that we could have thousands more new gravitational lenses. Before this discovery, gravitational lenses were difficult to discover, and only around 100 of the known ones are used on a regular basis. The first one to identify gravitational lenses was Albert Einstein, who's predicted that light bends around massive objects in space the same way that light bends when it travels through a lens. In doing so, it greatly magnifies images of galaxies that otherwise would not be visible for us. And while we've been able to observe faraway galaxies for some time now, the discovery of these cosmic magnifying glasses has been a hit and miss until now. And we have the development of an algorithm which looks for certain signatures to thank for it. The work was built on work previously developed by data scientist Dr. Colin Jacobs at Astro D3 and Swinburne University. And lastly, NASA's spacecraft Lucy is about to swing by Earth. The first mission to the Jupiter Trojan asteroids, NASA's Lucy spacecraft, will skim the Earth's atmosphere on the 16th of October, 2022. This means it will be passing only 220 miles, or 350 kilometers from the Earth's surface. Lucy will swing by on the first anniversary of its launch, and it will help it gain some of the orbital energy needed to travel to this never-before-visited population of asteroids. Lucy was launched on the 16th of October 2021, which marked the beginning of a 12-year voyage. The Trojan asteroids are ancient space rocks that could hold important clues to the creation of our solar system. But they're trapped in orbits around the Sun at the same distance as Jupiter, so it's going to take a while for the Lucy mission to get there. After this orbital swing, Lucy will be sent on a new trajectory for an orbit that will last 2 years. After that, it will return to Earth for a second gravitational assist, which will take Lucy all the way to the main asteroid belt, where it will observe the asteroid Donald Johanson before traveling into the leading Trojan asteroid swarm. The third time Lucy will swing by Earth will be in 2030. Sadly, Lucy will approach Earth from the Sun, so observers on Earth won't be able to witness Lucy in the days before the approach. But it will enable Lucy to take some images of the nearly full Earth and Moon, which scientists can use to calibrate the instruments. And that's it. What do you think of all the debris that's already on Mars, without a human ever having set foot on the planet? Let us know in the comments what you think. Thanks for watching.